It's showtime.
Alright guys, welcome back. Joe again here from Dirt World Aquatics, and man, here we go again. Never a dull moment here. So we're prepping for the 720-gallon aquarium. We go on a little journey to Butler, Pennsylvania to ACRYLIC Creations, where finally we're going to get the modifications done that are required. One of the first things we got to do is got to put some fenders on this trailer. Alright, so the passenger side is done. Don is wrapping up the driver's side right now. Then once this is 100% complete, we'll just do a little bit of grinding and primer and paint both of the fenders. And with that being said, we can probably get up on the road and head to Pennsylvania. I did talk to Dave a couple days ago. He did ask about the tank because he knows all about it. One of the things we do have to do right now is obviously get inside the tank, obviously pull the cover off. We're going to have to clean it out a little bit because it was pretty rough from where it came from. And so I need to really clean the inside up really good and then kind of lay out the area where the overflow box is going to be going. Instead of doing a center overflow box, we are going to do an overflow box in the back left corner. So we're going to show you that here in a little bit. Alright guys, it's been a couple of days. I just went ahead and repositioned the tank trailer over here into a shaded area. But it's time to pull off the cover, man. It's been about 4 or 5 months. This is one of those projects that's kind of on the back burner. But it's time to kind of get rolling on this because the weather will be changing soon. I need to get this thing to Pennsylvania fixed and back so that we can get it inside the house before the weather gets a little crazy. So let's pull off the cover and let's see what we got going on inside. All right, cover's off, and as you can see, this is one nasty tank. Oh man.
What in the hell is that?
Hey you kid, get away from there!
I would not mess with that thing.
Don't put your lips on it!
What the hell is this?
So we're gonna have to get inside there with the garden hose and some scrubbies, light ones, something that's not going to hurt the acrylic. But we gotta clean this up before Dave can put his fingers on this and start welding in the new overflow box and the strips that are gonna go on the bottom. So this is nasty. Look at this. So, all right. I think it's time to probably break out the shop vac and the hose and try to make some sense of this, because one of the things that I have to do is I need to determine who is going to be the front and back, because that's really going to dictate where that corner overflow box is going to go. So I don't know if one side is worse than the other as far as scratches. So I'm going to have no choice but to really scrub this thing up and determine who is better than the other. So, all right, let's go ahead and put the camera down and start cleaning up this nasty 720-gallon aquarium. All right, well, I am pleasantly surprised. I can't believe this, but we're looking pretty good. Now, obviously, I still got some rough spots over here on this side, but I'm at a point now where it's time to break out the shop vac and at least start drawing out the first round of water, which is down here. We're already pushing a couple inches thick right now. So I don't think that's going to hurt the tank by no means, but I just want to go ahead and get it out of there. But I'm going to have to probably jump down inside and get some of these rougher areas. But for the most part, everything is starting to clear up pretty good. So I'm kind of happy with that. So, all right, let me go ahead and jump inside and vacuum things up, and then we'll get for a little bit more heavy scrubbing in some of these rougher areas. But looking pretty good so far. What I'm doing now is I'm trying to figure out the corner overflow box. Now, granted, this is probably not the corner it's going to be in. Let's just say that if this were the good front face, which I really haven't decided that yet, then the corner overflow box would be in the back left corner of the aquarium. So it really doesn't matter what corner I use right now. It's just a matter of what is this thing going to look like. So now with these on here, you might get a little bit better of a view of this. A couple of things I'm kind of factoring in now. So even though the shape would be kind of like this, and the return lines, at least two of them, one would be coming out the top of the overflow box, or maybe drilled just a hair above the wear here and here. So obviously water return lines would be pumping in this direction and in this direction. Obviously you could have some flex tubes on there, and you can point those in any direction that you want. But obviously at the same time, water would be entering from this flat face, this front here, and over here. But that only leaves me this much working area as far as the inside of the corner overflow box. And as you can see, that's already a problem, because if I have a Durso system or a being animal system, we're going to need access to get down inside this thing, right? Because you're going to have a couple pipes coming up for the stanchions where you're going to have the T's on them. So you got to have a little bit of working room down inside here. So I can already tell that when I measured 19.5 inches from this point to the corner, and the same thing over here, 19.5 inches, that this triangle gets real small. This really doesn't matter how far I bring these out. This is a big factor right here in being able to hook up the being animal system for your main siphon, and then obviously an emergency backup. So, and then obviously you're going to have a pair of return lines. So you're going to have some pipe work down inside here. And obviously this is going to transfer all the way through right to the bottom. So I got to factor in multiple holes in the bottom for the bulkheads. So not only do I have to kind of design this here at the top, I almost need to transfer this through and kind of visually draw it out down here in the bottom, knowing that I'm going to have enough room for probably a 1-inch return line there, so you got 2 bulkheads there, and then more than likely 3 1.5-inch holes, 3 separate bulkheads for the water coming down. One's going to be the emergency backup, and then probably 2 for the primary. Alright guys, today's the day where the tank is finally coming off its original stand. So we went ahead and brought in the other stand that was holding the 720 that we got from Toledo. So we're going to beef this area up so that this height here is the same as the height over there. And what's going to happen is we're going to pull this towards us, and then up on the ceiling here, we're going to put the 2 chain falls in the slings. We're going to go ahead and grab the tank, and then once we got a good bite on it, we're going to lift it up probably about 2 inches right here, so the tank's going to be floating in air once again. We'll pull all this stuff out towards me, and then we'll lower the tank down onto the cart. So that's what's on tap for today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and put the 2x4s up in the ceiling with the chain falls and the slings, and then we'll get ready to move everything forward. So we'll show you how this plays out. So get ready, here we go. Alright, so we're somewhat set up right now. We've got boards over here on the left and right, 2x6s, which are putting us at the same elevation as the bottom of the tank here. And up in the ceiling, we are locked in right now with the chain falls. Just a pair of 2x4s that are locked into the floor joists, and those are 2x10s. And then we got a piece of pipe that is right there up inside. So I've done this several times through the years. This actually works out pretty good. And then another one over here on the right. But right now, the very next step is to slide the tank off the wall, and I'm already seeing that that is becoming an issue because we've got this mirror that we put back here about 2 years ago. So I really can't even use this back wall as a leverage. That mirror is 4 foot tall and 8 foot long. That's a big one. So trying to figure out how to get the tank off the stand now is the next tricky part. So I don't know what we're going to do, but we will figure it out. right, after much debate, I think we got it. Well, actually, Jack's got it. He came up with an idea. The first one, we were going to put a sling around the back wall. It went all the way down and came back. And what we're trying to do is put pressure on the top of the tank, kind of like trying to make it do this, so that we can get 3/4 inch pipe underneath here to give it the ability to kind of just roll right out. But the first sling that went around, nothing was happening. It was actually falling off and going upward because of the angle right here. So it was slipping off this corner right here and the same way down there. So now we just came up with another idea, or better yet, he did.
Well, I didn't know you wanted to get involved with the discussion, Mr. Helper. But since you want to help, maybe you can help me, okay?
Now we're grabbing the front of the tank right here. And by doing just that and putting just a little bit of pressure on it, obviously we're not going to hurt the top of this tank because this thing is 2.5 inches thick across the top right here. So I don't care what we do, we're not hurting the top of this tank. That acrylic's not being cracked or broken, or zero deflection right there. So just now, I put a little bit of pressure on it, and you can already see right now we're getting movement on the tank, which is good. So the more we put a little bit more pressure on, this is starting to walk forward. So we're going to keep going, see what happens, and attempt to get closer to the temporary stand. We got it. Finally, the tank is off the stand. Haven't seen that in a long time. So the next step now is go ahead and put the slings completely around the bottom of the tank, and then we'll go ahead and put some pressure on it. Once again, we got to grab up inside here, and then once we feel that the tank is kind of floating in the air, we'll go ahead and remove everything from this area and drop the tank down onto the cart. All right, so we got the slings on and everything's attached, and we just put a little tension on it, and believe it or not, the tank is floating, so we are good to go. So first step, we're going to go ahead and remove all the boards here on the right and the left, and then just for safety reasons, I'm going to go ahead and lower it down just a little bit, get closer to the stand, and then we're going to get the cart in position, get everything ready to go before we make the final lift, and then we will move that stand and drop it down onto the cart. So there it is. We're floating in the air again. All right, once again, we have a massive aquarium floating in the air. So we just moved the stand, and now we just got to take this cart, slide it up underneath, and then we can go ahead and lower the whole thing down onto it. But there it is, floating in the air. Let me get back here so you can see this. That's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah!
All right, let's go ahead and lower this big boy down. Alright, 720's on the cart, we're good to go. That's good, so now we can go ahead and roll this out and get it ready for loading up at the new owner's house.